We're going to start with some trivia. There are 3 Domino's gift cards up for grabs, but the rule is your butt has to be one of the black chairs. So all my friends over there, come on over, grab a seat. The first question, the way we're going to play this is just shout out the answer if you think you know what it is. I'm going to give you, it's multiple choice, and then find me afterwards and I'll give you your gift card, all right? What year was Domino's founded? Is it A, 1952, B, 1960, C, 1980, or D, 1991? Louder. B. 1960. It was founded in Michigan. The original name was Dom Nicks, and they didn't rebrand to Domino's until 1965. All right, next question. How many Domino's locations are there in the US? Is it A, around 1,300, B, around 4,400, C, around 5,000, or D, around 6,900? I heard it, 6,900, D, back here. That was as of May 27th, 2024. And then lastly, how many different pizza combinations are there available to order from Domino's? Is it A, around 350,000, B, around 14 million, C, around 34 million, or D, more than 1 billion combinations? C, 34 million pizza combinations, which is a perfect segue to my first question for Andrew. So Andrew, obviously Domino's needs no introduction. It is a world famous brand and something that has comforted me from high school to college into my adult life, for better or for worse. But we want to get to know you a little bit more. Let's start with a softball question. What is your favorite Domino's order? What's your go-to pizza toppings or non-pizza item from Domino's?
If I'm really craving pizza, my go-to is a pan pizza with pepperoni and pineapple on it.
Ooh, okay. You settled the pineapple debate.
I am a pineapple person, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
But more relevant for this panel, can you just unpack a little bit about your role and your remit at Domino's? So you're in a room with brand marketers, and marketing is nowhere in your title. So what are you responsible for? How do you interface with the marketing team at Domino's?
Yeah, I'm celebrating 10 years at Domino's this summer, so it's been a really fun time. And when I joined Domino's, I was actually in the marketing department and ran marketing analytics for them. And in the course of my 10 years there, the team's grown quite a bit, and we had so much success partnering with our marketing group that the rest of the organization got very hungry for data science and AI, and we expanded the team to be bigger than just supporting marketing analytics.
Excellent. So what does a typical day, week, or month look like for you? What are some of the biggest priorities that you're focused on right now from a data and AI perspective?
Yeah, we covering all aspects of the business is really exciting for us. So we have teams of data scientists that are building these algorithms that we're talking about. We have data scientists that are partnering with our vendors to kind of customize and fine tune some of these algorithms that we're talking about, consulting with our markets internationally to understand their needs and give them guidance as they're looking for opportunities to apply AI, or looking for vendors that they ought to be bringing in to their business as well.
Excellent. So Domino's is a 44-year-old brand, right? Founded in 1960, we just learned. And AI is not a new technology or innovation for the business. Some of your earliest examples date back to Dom, which is an ordering experience for customers. We're actually going to play a quick commercial that dates back, I think, to 2015, which just shows how long Domino's has been innovating in the AI space.
Cancel my morning meetings.
How about a meeting with pizza?
Where's Orion's belt?
Light years from pizza.
Dom, how do I do karate?
I don't know karate, but I know pizza.
Jiu-jitsu?
Introducing voice ordering on the Domino's app, the newest way to order.
Dom, I'm gonna need a pizza.
I thought you'd never ask.
Tell Dom what you want, or ask for this $5.99 deal.
I'm on it.
I love that because it again just shows that AI is not a new technology, and you guys have been at the forefront of embracing the latest advancements and infusing it into your customer experience. So, can you shed some light on where that originated from back in 2015, and kind of the journey that you've had with AI since some of those early days?
Yeah, and it's beyond just being a great throwback to see advertisement from. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but yeah, 9 years ago. It's a reminder of a couple things. You said it. AI, it's not a new thing, right? There's a resurged interest, I think, with every kind of step change in AI. The latest one being around generative AI, but the technology has existed for a long time, and the concepts have existed for a long time too, right? A lot of the things that we're trying to create with AI are not new, but we're able to unlock new capabilities and new experiences with them. And one of the things I love about being at Domino's is we're very tech forward, and view that as a differentiator for us. And so we like to be on the cutting edge of some of these things, and this Dom voice ordering is a great example of that. It's also something that we've gone through versions of as the technology progresses, and with this latest kind of push into generative AI, there's an opportunity to take it even further, and it's really fun. The last couple of years since ChatGPT comes out, folks are really excited about generative AI, and the funny thing is when ChatGPT came out, it's based on GPT 3 and 3.5, right? And that's the version that most people were introduced to, and no one really talks about. Well, there was a version 1 and a 2, and we did quite a bit of work with GPT 2 back in, I think, 2019, and so it's a space that we keep a really close eye on, because we're myself, but the company in general, very bullish on the opportunity that exists there to create better experiences for the customer. And you can see all the way back 9 years ago, even thinking, and I've heard several of the other folks up here talking about, there's a person on the other end of this. You gotta brand the AI, or it just starts to feel generic. No one wants to talk to a robot; they want to talk to Domino's. And so even 10 years ago, thinking about, hey, if we're going to go with an AI, it needs to be branded, so he has a name and he's got a voice and he's got a personality. And through every iteration of the Dom voice ordering experience, that has persisted, and as technology advances, our ability to tailor that even more closely to what we want it to be has evolved.
Excellent. So while Dom has been sort of the most visible application of AI for a lot of your customers, your CTO, Kelly Garcia, has also said that AI at Domino's is far larger than just a chatbot. So can you shed some light on some of the other ways your organization has used AI or is thinking about using AI in the near or midterm?
Yeah, I think there's so many opportunities to apply AI or machine learning, and we really look for opportunities where AI is going to drive value for Domino's, and not just sticking AI on something just to say it's AI. But we looking through offers, pricing. You and I were talking a little bit about the locations, or where do we build our next store. A lot of that stuff is powered, not things that we're going to put on television, but a lot of that stuff is powered by machine learning and AI behind the scenes.
One of the other examples you shared with me was around your embrace of multimodal AI, and specifically computer vision. You guys also launched a couple of years back a rewards program that has computer vision kind of built into it, rewarding people for eating pizza. So we have another commercial for that. If we want to play it, then we can talk a little bit about that product as well.
At Domino's, we love pizza as much as you do. That's why we're giving you Piece of the Pie rewards points for eating any pizza from anywhere.
Pizza from here?
Yep,
How about from here?
that's right.
Homemade pizza?
I guess.
Homemade pizza?
That's a little better.
What about anchovy?
Any toppings,
New York style. Ah, deep dish.
any pizza.
What?
Download the Domino's app, scan your pizza, and you could earn 10 Piece of the Pie rewards points toward free Domino's pizza.
Super cool. So can you peel back some of the layers for the marketers in the room that are thinking about these new AI capabilities, and how does something like that come to fruition at an organization like Domino's? Like, where does the innovation pipeline start? How does the marketing team interact with you and to make that a reality?
Yeah, this was actually a really fun one. I didn't share with you all the details behind the scenes, but there's a couple different projects that kind of came together, and I think this is where like building diverse teams is so important, particularly when we get into some of this AI stuff, because a lot of times you've got an AI group or an AI vendor that's like very focused on one, like the old, like, if you got a hammer everything's a nail type thing. It's like, well, solve it with AI. And then you've got the other folks that aren't as close to AI that are either maybe trepid to kind of dip their toes in the water with it, or they have grand ambitions that are difficult to accomplish. But we really strive in our innovation pipeline to create a diverse group of team members that can ideate and build out some of these concepts. And the way that this came to be was really two different projects. One was a Skunkworks R&D thing that was, hey, we have these really old cameras in our stores. Like, wouldn't it be cool if they could see pizzas in the store? And it was like, we'll spin up a few folks to go off and look at that. Meanwhile, we had launched our loyalty program, and we were always looking for new ways to inject energy into our loyalty program and get new people engaged with that loyalty program. And in the video, that was our previous CEO, but our current CEO was, he's always got these fantastic wild ideas. He was a CMO for us when we first came to Domino's. He's like, what if we gave people loyalty points just for getting pizza from anywhere? And it was like, oh, that's a wild idea. And that thing started to progress, and you start to run into barriers, and it's like, well, we got to make sure they got the pizza. So all of a sudden the marketing team started going down this path of like, hey, we need the receipt of the pizza that the person bought to prove they bought the pizza, to give them the points. Like, what if they could like scan the receipt in, and we could OCR? And we're in this meeting, and a couple different people are like, well, we have this like pizza recognition thing, right? And we've got this other thing over here, and all of a sudden it kind of like started to come together. And as we iterated through it, like some really fun things came out of it. At first it was like, hey, you know what? There's all these vision APIs, right? Like, we'll just go grab a vision API, which you quickly, kind of learn is there's limits to what some of those things can do and cost of what some of those things can do. And as we're going through, our partners in legal said, hey, as we get the first cuts of the ads back, your app better be able to recognize the dog toy. If it can't recognize the dog toy, you can't put it in the ad. And no one could find a model or a vision API that could recognize, the dog toy. And so we ended up using this in-house model that we've been working on, but we didn't have any dog toy, pictures, and there's no open data set that we could find with like pizza-shaped objects that are. And so we sent the marketing team, like, went to all the local Targets and like Walmarts and bought like every pool inflatable, like dog toy, kids toy, pillow, anything that they could find was pizza. And we built this giant data set of things that they considered putting in that advertisement.
That is an incredible case study. I love it for so many reasons. One, it talks about the importance of fostering a culture of innovation from the very top all the way down. The fact that a lot of these AI applications are still very scrappy. And now that, Domino's probably owns the world's largest repository of pizza dog toys. So there's some revenue you guys may be able to.
Willing to license. Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of the folks that have been up on stage have talked about kind of the unsexy side of AI, and I do want to go there because I think it's really important, and that's all around the data, right? The company I work for, Qloo, has built our database for over 12 years, so we know how important it is to have a really robust database in order to refine great models and create great predictions. Can you talk about the data that Domino's collects, some of the more interesting data points? I know you and I spoke about some of them when we were getting to know one another, and what you think the most valuable predictors of a customer's order that you guys are using for personalization actually are.
Yeah, I think even when I joined Domino's 10 years ago, in the restaurant space, the amount of data that Domino's has is unprecedented because of the amount of delivery that we do. So we've always had a really good finger on the pulse in terms of who our customers are and where they're located, which even in the early 2000s allowed for a lot of targeted marketing, for direct mail marketing campaigns that every other restaurant I think was pretty jealous of. So we have tons of information. We have our loyalty program with digitization now of a lot of our ordering. It has unlocked quite a bit in terms of who the customer is and what their ordering patterns are, which then allow you to start tailoring things around their preferred ways of either ordering, collecting, their preferences on taste, and price points, coupons, things along those lines.
Makes sense. Another challenge that food brands and businesses like Domino's have is predicting the next consumer trend in terms of ingredients and flavors or dietary restrictions. What are some of the data sources or tools that you guys use to keep your finger on the pulse of that ever-evolving consumer taste?
Yeah, we use a hybrid of both third-party research and then primary research that we like to meld together, and there's really been an explosion in those sources and the depth of which they're able to get to, leveraging a lot of social listening and AI on top of that to really unpack the trends and the patterns that are kind of out there, which has really done two things for us: accelerated our primary research capabilities because we're able to hone in the questions that we're going to try to address more quickly through fewer rounds. And then the other one is answer quick questions that maybe wasn't worth spinning up a big study for, a custom study for in the past.
Excellent. Yesterday, I think it was Shelley Palmer who opened up, and he was saying that never trust an AI vendor that promises to have all of the answers. And so I'm hoping for you to impart some wisdom on the folks in this room around what do you look for when someone's pitching you? What do you look for in a good partner? And as Domino's is deciding whether do we build this in-house, do we buy off of the shelf, or a hybrid of the two?
Yeah, it's I think it's similar to selecting vendors in a lot of different spaces. I think the thing that's different, being so new, not everybody has the in-house expertise to kind of cut through what the vendors are pitching you. My first piece of advice: if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is going to be. If it's a capability beyond what you've seen from OpenAI, ChatGPT, and Microsoft, it probably is being oversold to you. The thing that I look for the most, though, I think, is a true partner and not a vendor. And so, because this is such a new space, you mentioned it's a bit scrappy. There's learning to be done on both sides. We announced this big deal with Microsoft, and the most valuable thing, for us in that is not just the technology that they're bringing, but it's the partnership. It's the fact that they're in the building with us, and as we're building things, we're building things together. And it's not just a sign a deal and here's a suite of APIs, or here's a web app that you can log into, or a data source that you can access, but they're in it with you because there's so many problems I think that are out there to be solved. And if you don't have the expertise in house and they're just giving you access to that thing, who's there to help you kind of solve those problems and make sense of the challenges that you don't even know are coming yet.
Excellent. A lot of the folks I've talked with over the last 36 hours have also expressed frustrations with their legal teams. And there's a lot of resistance to parting ways with their very valuable first-party data in order to train some of these open models or the models that they are licensing. Clearly, you at Domino's have overcome some of those legal hurdles. What advice do you have for folks that are working through compliance issues, and what comfort can you provide to people of how to keep your data safe as they're training these models?
Yeah, we did establish a data or an AI governance committee chaired by our CTO, and then myself and our chief legal team sit on that, which has been hugely helpful. So we have regular touch points, either once or twice a month, to kind of talk through some of the issues. I think we've gotten to a pretty good spot. And I heard a couple folks mention this in the time that I've been here today, and I really pull it apart into two things. One is there's kind of this data leak concern that everybody's got, and when I look at it, it's really no different than any other SaaS application to me. It's a pure data security problem, and most of us already have the expertise to go in and evaluate that data security thing. Where is my data going? Who has access to it? Where is it persisted? How is it secured? All the normal stuff that when we go to do any contract where we're shipping a marketing list off or any other piece of data off, the same questions that need to be asked. Because I mean, these large models are hungry for data. And it's also possible your data that's not being used for AI that you ship to some vendor that you weren't aware of is using it for AI. So it's really, the use case doesn't matter. It's a data security on the one hand. The other side is really on the IP side, which is if we generate some new content, and this part is to me a little grayer at the moment right now because the legal system just hasn't caught up, is content that we generate through these algorithms, who owns it? And then the other one, which is a little easier to deal with, but if we're infringing on somebody else's copyright claim, who's on the hook for that? And I kind of look at that too, is a non-AI author can infringe on someone's AI. So what protections or what processes do you have in place to safeguard? What reviews do you have in place to safeguard you against that today? Because agency can make a mistake, your team members can make a mistake, the AI can make a mistake too. So I think it's about having good process regardless of who's kind of generating that content from a IP perspective.
Very helpful. I'm really fascinated about the applications of AI for personalization from a user and a customer perspective. So to the extent that your legal team will allow you to disclose some of where AI is going at Domino's, what can we expect as Domino's customers in the next couple of months? Or what's the big vision? What are you guys working towards?
Well, that's the secret pizza sauce. So I think it's not a secret that consumers are kind of demanding more relevant content and offers, and as marketers, we all know the value in being able to target our dollars in a little bit more precisely and speak more directly to our consumers, because at the end of the day, we're all probably measured on some sort of marketing ROI metric of whatever flavor you use. And so I think you'll see us continue to invest in that space in a way to kind of sell more pizza and have more fun.
We love it. We have 3.5 minutes left. I would love to open it up for some Q&A from the audience. Any burning questions for Andrew?
Yeah, it's a great question, and our chefs are always asking similar questions on both ends of the spectrum. Like, what areas of the menu are being heavily used, and can we promote? And then on the flip side too, as we're thinking about product innovation, our operations, we want to streamline that and keep that as easy as we can. And so we're also looking for those pockets of the menu that are not being leveraged and trying to understand then, is it an awareness issue or is it a preference issue, and look at those as opportunities for optimization. I have not, but it's I'll take that back and let you know how it goes.
Any other questions? All right, Andrew, my final question for you. As you leave here today and head back on a flight to Ann Arbor, Michigan, what do you wish you knew 5 years ago feels like a lifetime in AI, but let's say 5 months ago that you wish you knew now? How have things changed in the last 5 months? What's your perspective on the rapid advancements?
Yeah, it's my newsfeed is kind of littered with articles every single. My newsfeed is very nerdy. We have this like AI. I hate to call it a strategy. It's not really a strategy. It's kind of a guiding principles. And up front in that guiding principles, there's a definition of AI that it goes something like it's an application of machine learning that mimics human thought process, behavior. But at the end of that, it says, hey, the definition of AI is going to be a moving target, and so whatever you think is AI today is probably not going to be what we think is AI in the future. Which, to your point, 5 years ago, and looking at some of those commercials, it's like, yeah, that stuff was really primitive compared to what we're working with today, and we know the investment in this area is going to continue to fuel the innovation in the space. And so I just kind of go, as we're thinking about what we're going to be able to do with this, whatever we think is AI today, in the future, it's just going to be even more powerful. So I'm really excited about that.
Excellent advice to end on. Friends, Andrew Birch from Domino's, thank you so much.